Dog Soldier Shadows of the Past is, to put it quite simply, a really bad anime. The idea is solid enough. A homage-laden action anime that pays tribute to Western action films with an Eastern touch is a neat concept. Shame they had to run it into the ground with boring action, non-existent characters, and a plot that is way too basic yet convoluted for its own good. Following an ex-Green Beret by the name of John Heba and his overly wacky and bumbling friend, we watch as John is sent on a mission by the Japanese and United States governments to retrieve a bioweapon from a shadowy arms dealer by the name of the Phantom. Things quickly turn out to be far from what they were set up to be, as John finds out that friends from his past are who he is sent to take down, and that the weapon is actually a cure for AIDS. The plot is mind-numbingly dumb and overdone. The twists are obvious, and it's all taken so seriously that it never actually feels all that fun. Instead of playing out like an over-the-top adventure, it's a miserable snooze fest that doesn't understand what made the material it's borrowing from any fun. Every one of the characters is extremely one-note and bland. All we know about John is that he left the military for doing the right thing, that he was an orphan, and that he wants to protect his friend by the name of Kathy. Kathy just wants peace in the world despite doing some bad things. And then there's Makoto, who is essentially bootleg Virgil from DMC3 in both looks and in his plans. I always find it amazing when something like the 80s G.I. Joe or Transformers series is actually more violent than an actual anime. Every action scene here is short, poorly cut, and weightless. It's the same few reused shots of guns being fired or someone being stabbed, and there is no carnage or impact with anything going on screen. The only bit of action I can say was alright was Makoto's death at the end. Speaking of reused shots, there are so many scenes of animation reused to pad out the already incredibly short runtime. In fact, 2 scenes are reused near their entirety up to 3 times over the course of the film, when they never should have been. The animation was stiff, cheap, and not very good. If the rest of the anime was actually good or at least decent, I could have given it more of a pass, as subpar animation is typically fine with me. But here, it was just grating to watch, as it felt unfinished and crappy to put it bluntly. Also, this is more of a nitpick on my side, but the wacky faces and physics don't mesh well with the overly serious tone most of the OVA has. The soundtrack for the film, what little there was completely unfitting, with random jazz and other things thrown in that completely contrasted in all the wrong ways with what was going on screen. While I did watch the sub, not even the Japanese voice actors seemed to be giving any effort to try to make their characters sound believable or interesting. And with all that said, Dog Soldier Shadows of the Past is 45 minutes of pure boredom and frustration, with not a single element of the movie even reaching what I would call acceptable. All I can do is recommend you avoid this movie and watch something like Gunsmith Cats, Riding Bean, or Black Lagoon instead. As always, if you want to help support the channel, please consider sharing the video with a friend or checking out my Patreon linked in the description below. A big thank you to my wonderful friend Orion Knight for drawing up these wonderful animation stills of Punish Neat. If you have any comments, questions, or recommendations, leave them in the comments as I read and reply to everything. Until next time, this is Thierry Williamson signing off until the next video. See ya guys!